Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I apparently needed that. It was about a 2.5 hour clunk. Lord Walker Cho came by and asked for you while you were gone. He needs your assistance urgently in the town of Dawn's Blossom to the north. For what reason, he did not say. Speak to Capmaster Utnam. He'd be happy to send you there. No, that's okay. Oh, apparently I do have to do this. Well, okay, fine. I can accept that. Be a good time as any to talk about the brickwork of the zone. I didn't say it was bad, although I did pull out of it. It's just different. They changed it completely. So this is the Jade Forest. You missed them, von Falkenstein. They're done. That's why the voting is still going. After Legion, we will be doing a short dark, during which I will be spending my time getting ready for the LGAs, at which point we will stream the LGAs, and then we'll go back to BFA. Your timing is flawless. I was about to leave, but please stay and enjoy the town while we gather the jade we need.
Eyes open.
Your deeds have sparked a long-forgotten memory of an ancient prophecy. This deserves investigation. In order to investigate, I need Jade, though. I have instructed Toya to gather as much as he can find and give it to you when he is done. Bring it to me and we will see about deciphering the ancient Emperor's omen. While he gathers the Jade, feel free to explore. You may find the people of this town are in need of a person of your caliber. So...
friend, this is Dawn's Blossom, the heart of Pandaren life here in the Jade Forest. If you wish to make an impression, I am certain many of these citizens could use your help.
See you around, Joe. So there's technically an MSQ through line here, but for the most part, the MSQ is kind of on pause for the rest of the zone. We'll come back to it later, but for the most part, this is now secondary quests. We've done MSQ stuff. Let's do some regional stuff.
Greetings, Wanderer.
Cho's off on another one of his adventures, and this one requires a big order of Jade. I'm going to have to call in some favors. How about in the meantime, you introduce yourself to the locals? There's Kai Wanderbrew, he's a good guy to know, as is Master Windfer. Oh, hey, say hi to Peiji Golden Draft up at the inn.
May the mists protect you.
Here's Kai.
Speak up.
Are you from the Turtle? Yes. Brewmaster Wanderbrew, at your service. I travel the Jade Forest in search of the finest ingredients for my brews. Unlike the high and mighty Golden Drafts of High Dawn's Blossom, they have their brig brewhouse for mass production, which is fine, you know, if you enjoy drinking swill.
Goodbye.
Do you like my armor? It's very Gilnean. This should be a quest we're not doing.
Browse my wares.
Yep. So, when we were doing Pandaria recently, we saw Kiryagosa here. And I immediately was like, hold up, what? And it was very confusing. Because, you know, this is new. Now, very, very, very small spoilers, but it turns out this is a Dragonflight quest. This is obviously before we'd done the Blue Dragon quest, because we were doing Pandaria as part of a leveling thing for a friend of mine, to see if they liked WoW at all. So she was just randomly here, and I'm just like, what? Anyways, we'll come back to that much later. Hello, Zar. Why are you so thin? I am a frickin' Worgen.
Hello. Jade
Oops.
Serpent. Guide.
Grab that, because that's a vector quest.
You smell of
Another
good
vector
fortune.
quest.
Welcome.
So you're the stranger Cho was talking about. Welcome to Dawn's Blossom. I am Peji Goldendraft, and my family makes only the finest brews in Pandaria. Unlike those wander brews who keep slinking around ruins and ruining the good name of brewmasters everywhere, I think I even spied one of them eyeing my daughter. Can't have that. Golden drafts and wander brews do not mix.
There is
Have
no...
another go-to quest.
Next one is on me.
3 vector quests. It's true. Worgen are actually pretty skinny when you think about it. Let's go ahead and get rid of these vector quests here, because we're not doing those yet.
Tell me of your travels.
So you are the creature who gave the Jinyu courage they needed to stand their ground against the Holzen. Such courage is not something we have seen in some time. I welcome you to our humble home.
Slow down. Life is...
Can't do it. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Hello.
Good, good, good. You're going to fit right in.
There is no hurry.
I'm going to keep looking for Jade. You may want to ask around, see if anybody can use a hand. I mean, if you think about it, it actually makes a weird amount of sense. Remember, Pandaria is extremely prosperous. I mean, ignore the fact that these are bears for a second. Oh, we'll be seeing a lot of Jade stuff as we go through this. Ignoring the roof right there. That statue over there. Can I ping it? Yeah, there we go. That statue over there. That's solid Jade. And it's useful as a magical conduit. It's not to the extent of, say, Guild Wars 2, where they practically turned Jade into Tiberium, but it's still useful. For a setting this prosperous, it makes sense that essentially everyone here is, you know, fat. I don't have a nicer way to put that. When you have this idyllic of a lifestyle with this few threats and this many resources bountifully available everywhere, yeah.
Where are you from? Have fun!
There's a witch in the woods, but no one believes me. She turned my friend Shid into Jade. We were all so scared we tried to run back, but she sicked her big Jade monstrous on us. A bunch of my friends tried to get away by climbing in the trees. Can you help save them?
Go smash some bad guys. See you later.
I tried to fight one of the Jade Tigers, but they were too scary. They stare at you and turn you into Jade. Honest truth. Chen's sister friend, Nee, heard it from Kai's mom. I want you to be brave like you, though. Could you show me how to beat up those Jade Tigers?
Where are you going?
West of here is the Silkwood Road. It has fallen into shadow as spiders there have turned to more evil and gluttonous path. I would face these villains myself, but someone has to defend the noodle shop from dangers and such. Go, conquer these beasts. Should you succeed, perhaps I'll regale you with some epic tales of heroism. I will also pay you. Oh, okay.
Until next time.
Tell me of your travels.
Ah, welcome. I have need of your services. Sira Goldendraft was looking for some silk. Personally, I hate silk. It gets stuck in my fur, but I really want to impress her. If you bring me some silk from the Silkwood west of here, I will gladly pay you for your help.
Next one.
You just said the magic words. Lust for power. I should probably also mention... I don't want to jump the gun too much, but the Jade Forest is probably one of the most idyllic places we see. Barring, I would say, only the Valley of the Four Winds. The catch there is that it's not as idyllic as it looks at first glance. One of the major themes of Pandaria is how bad it is to keep things holed up under the surface for long periods of time. To actually, deal with things. And obviously that's more of an emotional, core, personal thing, but it does apply to the land itself. Pandaria is probably as close to paradise as we've gotten, but it is built over a very rotten core, as we'll see. Naturally, that makes our job fixing that core. By bringing war to their lands. Oh yeah, very small feature I wanted to show off. I was doing this during the lunch break when I was setting up, when I was eating and setting up my build. You may or may not notice that I've got several buttons on my bars that are grayed out. That'd be G, 4, and C, respectively. A nice feature this game does, FF14 actually allows this as well, so I credit both games for this idea, is even if you don't actually have an ability yet, you can already slot it on your bar. Why is that relevant? Because if you're like me, you like to plan out your build in advance. And so you start to think, okay, where do I want this ability, and this ability? Considering in 10 or 15 levels, I'm also going to get this other ability that has to go somewhere. So you can just set up your bar in advance like this. Yeah, it's a great feature. Can approve. Oh yeah, I promised I'd talk about Killing Spree. So Killing Spree used to be Omni Slash. Just straight up Omni Slash from FF7. You just popped it, it was a cooldown, no resource cost, and it just absolutely murdered whatever was nearby. It would randomly target nearby enemies, and it would hit them all quite a few times. And there were a lot of things you could do to buff it, and blah, 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 blah. Old Killing Spree was awesome. Now, it's not to say New Killing Spree is necessarily bad, but it is rather different. New Killing Spree, which I've actually spec'd out of entirely, is... So, it's still got a 90-second cooldown, but now it's a finisher and costs a decent chunk of energy. Like half your bar, decent chunk of energy. It attacks someone based on how many combo points you use. So a certain number of times over a certain number of seconds. It also stretches out the damage you take across it, so it's kind of a live button as well. It also hits like an absolute truck. Whatever you're looking at is probably going to die. But that's kind of it. So it's still very useful, but it's kind of been restructured into a stab, 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 stab kind of a thing. And I don't know. I didn't feel like it. There's other abilities I could use better. Ah, get him off! Get him off! Get him off! Stupid spiders. And yes, the burdens of Shaohao started in the Jade Forest and will end in the Dread Wastes. You could be my bodyguard. Well, okay. I can accept that. How did you get to be so brave? Well, so my homeland was invaded by the undead and also the upheaval of the world. More or less at the same time, actually. I've been debating how best to show you guys the burdens of Shaohao. Because unfortunately, as presented, or as mentioned, excuse me, they are not presented in the game. So the game cannot get credit for them, which is a damn shame. Because they're really good. All the vignettes are good.
I'm growing a beard.
But only some of them are in-game.
What you doing?
Warlords is the same way for some stupid reason.
Hi there. Bye-bye.
Like, it's not like they don't understand that putting into the game is a good thing. Because they did. With all of them except for 3, I want to say.
Hi there. Where you going?
Three bundles. I mean, they're all really good. Although, if I'm being completely honest, my personal favorite is Gul'dan's. It's
Where
really
are you
good.
from? You're fun.
And does such a great job of characterizing him. My follow-ups would probably be Ashara's. Look, it's not our fault that Monk is an amazing class, okay?
Tell me a story. See you later.
Oh, thank you for helping me through my friends. I don't see Shin, though.
Where are you going? Someday I'm going to be a hero like you.
Wow, you were awesome. You were like, bam! And they were like, ah! And then they were smashed.
Go smash some bad guys.
The Jade Witch must still have Shin. I can't do it. I don't want to see her, the witch. Can you please go talk to her, see if she has Shin? You're an adult. I don't think she'll try to turn you into Jade.
Have fun.
She would never turn an adult into Jade. Yeah, the fact that she insisted on singing that herself says something, I think. Where'd Gorok go? Huh. Actually, for real, where is Gorok? He should be... Maybe he only shows up if you're Horde. Weird. Like, we already saw him on the Alliance quest. Whatever.
Oh my, what a striking pose you have.
Have you come to pay your respects at the shrine of my husband? He was a hero, you know. A master of jade crafting and fighting. He was to be remembered forever, they said. But do you like my statues? I craft them with special care, saving only the best to provide my husband company and protection.
Yes, dear? I believe I heard some young whippersnapper in my garden out back. Let us go look for him.
I'm telling you, he probably only shows up as Horde. Even though we already saw him on the Alliance.
Ah, here is the boy. Does he not look special? My late husband and I always wanted children. You should join our family, preserved forever in Jade.
Oh, okay. There I go, kill him again.
Kitty.
Shin, you're alive.
Who are you supposed to be?
Thank you so much. If you find me at Dawn's Blossom later, I'll give you one of the things we stashed from our adventures. Wear socks? Funny you ask that. There's Gorok. Why wasn't he there earlier? Hey, you feeling better, dude? Who are you? Don't worry about it. You should get back to camp. Okay.
What do you need?
Such a noble hero. Reminds me of a younger, less good-looking version of myself. That's true. I can never match your belly.
White Tiger watch over you.
Welcome.
Did you find the silkwood?
Jade Serpent.
Oh, thank you so much. This is perfect. I hope it didn't stick it to you just like it stuck to me. I'm going to find Syra and give this to her right away.
May the mists...
No, silk is... Raw silk sucks. You need to treat it first. Okay, whatever.
I'm not afraid of you.
Oh, thank you so much. Shin is saved and you beat up the old witch. And the best part is, our parents were never told what we were up to. Hooray! Looks like everyone who came back is trying to get rid of whatever jade they had. Look, it's a jade raccoon.
Bye-bye.
I wonder how many players never pick up on that. Just as a mild curiosity. Oh, I'm sorry, Bragwin. Time to buy Bragwin new headphones. Of what game, Verlictum? You didn't mention the game. Oh, Paper Mario 2. So we gave a couple of negatives for the backtracking in Paper Mario 2, but it was actually improved in the remaster substantially. They added additional shortcuts and cut several entire swaths of backtracking out of the game completely. Look, if it wasn't for our lust for power or loot or whatever, however the hell they call it, they come up with some stupid thing for it. That's an interesting question, but by my own terminology, I would still call Paper Mario R a remaster. A very good remaster, but a remaster nevertheless.
Slow down. Enough of that.
Have you seen my son Lo? He was here a moment ago. I told him we were leaving today. I'm sure he's off trying to woo that young Syra Golden Draft. That's the very reason we need to leave. No son of mine is going to run off with a Golden Draft. I'm going to search for them. I do keep catching them sneaking off to the Arboretum. Any chance you could head out there and look for them?
White Tiger watch over you.
Tell me of your travels. Next one is on me.
I'll
May
come
the
back to
mists
that.
protect.
That. First, I gotta get stuck on the wall. Very important. You know, when I was younger, I used to hate Romeo and Juliet quests because I hate Romeo and Juliet. Yes, even as a kid. Nowadays, I tend to think of them more fondly. I think it's because a lot of them are actually decent. Like KOTOR 1s, or this one. And I'm sure I can think of other ones, but I can't right now. My sight has long since faded, but when the wind is right, I can still smell the blossoms of Nectar Breeze Orchard, as if it were my own poem. Today, though, their fragrance is muddled with smoke. Please, if you're able, check in on the orchard and see that things are okay. Oops, my old nose is just playing tricks on me. Bip, bip, bip.
Greetings. Farewell.
People come from all over Pandaria to train at Tian Monastery. Oh, that's another vector quest again.
Travel safe.
So many vector quests. Funny how that works out, right? The structure of Jade Forest is fascinating to me. So you start off either here with the Jinyu or up here with the Hosen. From there you get a vector quest to go to Dawn's Blossom. Dawn's Blossom then branches all over the place. It goes over here to the Jade Forest itself. It goes east to the Arboretum. It goes up to the Tian Monastery, which also has a secondary branch, which goes up to the Terrace of the Ten Thunders. And there's a final branch which goes down here to Nectar Breeze Orchard. All of these can be done in any order, or not at all, because only one of them actually has to be done to progress the MSQ. That's the Jade. Once you've, which I don't even actually, oh, there it is right there. Yep. It's right here. Once you finish the Jade quest, you can just progress the actual MSQ itself. Also, ignore the turtle... Oh my god. Turtle Wider is who this is. I have nothing to add to this. Who doesn't like turtles? One second. Oh wow, I already have all of them. Holy crap. Okay. Yes and no, Verlictum. It kind of varies. And also depends on your settings. Right now I have it set to scale to me so I can, you know, keep leveling. Otherwise we would have capped out, basically now.
Hello. There is no hurry.
As you have seen, this grove is abundant with beautiful pink petals. As each petal ages, the tone deepens and then fades. If you be so kind, I'm in need of a few petals that have freshly fallen. Only the ones that have just fallen will have precisely the right color I'm after. From it, I can forge an ink that will be breathtaking. Can you help me?
Jade Serpent guide you.
Speak up.
To achieve perfect paint strokes, one must have the right tools. My own have fallen into disrepair. The bristles becoming as unmanageable as holes in hair. Have you seen the wasps through the Arboretum? Their stingers can be fashioned into quills that provide just the right level of sharpness. Can you gather some for me, please?
Enough of that.
You are most welcome.
You seek two lovers blind to the ambitions of their family names. They were here, seeking a way to hold to their path. Sadly, they did not find answers amongst the trees or art.
Family, friends, food. These are what matter most.
The children you seek are not actually children, but grown Pandaren, despite what their elders claim. Their love will not be held in check by the feuds of their families. You'll find both Sarah and Lo at the Shrine of the Dawn, ever seeking an answer to the dilemma amongst the Pandriarchs of old.
May the red crane live forever in your heart.
So I've been thinking about the visuals for the zone. I think everyone can agree. This zone looks terrible. Like, vanilla zones just knock this out of the park. So I'm wondering how many negatives we could give for brickwork. Like, we've given plenty of brickwork negatives in the past. Yeah, Vanilla Desolus crushes this. You know, that's a fair point, Lord Aramont. Romeo and Juliet is definitely not a romance story. Wait, what's worse? I mean, better than... Oh! You know what? You're right. Hoth. Over on Tor. Hoth is a much better zone than this, clearly. Like, imagine, just picture this, but you're blind the entire time, and the experience gets better. Just like that. Yeah, I want pixelated PS2 graphics. Or bust. I'm mostly trying to prompt conversation because nobody's been talking about the visuals except me. I suppose I can just give my own judgment, as I tend to do. I think I've mentioned this before, but this is Pandaria. We're probably going to start, like I mentioned in Vashir, like we did in Vashir, we're going to start giving visual positives for subzones rather than zones. Not yet as Mirror. I mean, endgame Kata zones were about the same size as endgame Wrath zones, which were about the size as endgame BC zones. There's really only 2 exceptions that have been bigger zones than the standard endgame zones. Those are Vashir, which is technically 3 zones, and every zone in Dragonflight. Seriously, in terms of sheer scale, Dragonflight zones are much bigger than everything else. Yeah, I like the new trees. I especially like the new grass tech, too. So, at a certain update, I actually forget when, they made it so that you could have better grass density on the ground. But the problem is, in most zones, all that does is literally increase the amount of grass on the zone, which is fine. But Pandaria was actually designed with that tech in mind. So there's variety to the grass biomes, like the stuff that you can find on the ground. So you see this little stuff with these white tips like this, and then you see like basic stuff over here. They've got a couple of other ones which have different patches. You get the idea. There's some more variety to it, and so it just works better with it. Also, there's entire swaths where there is no grass, like this path right here. In older zones, you'd just see grass. Or grass for an entire area. Like, this whole area would be grass. And then there'd be, like, one road over there. Oh, I see it. Right over there. And that would be where there's no grass. Stuff like that. I have to admit, purely visually, Jade Forest might be the best looking zone, but I look forward to challenging that. I mean, I'm the weirdo who actually likes how the Dread Wastes look. Are they doing a pet battle? They are doing a pet battle. So for those of you not aware, you can actually watch pet battles. Like, if you get close enough, you can actually see the pet battle happening live. I always thought that was an interesting choice. Yeah, as you can see, you can actually see the attacks and the health and everything. Yeah, you can just straight up spectate. You got this. Yeah, you can't capture until they're the only one left. Not that they can hear me. No, you can't capture until... Okay, whatever. Oh, never mind. Maybe you can capture. Never mind. Rats. Anyway, sorry. That might be what I'm thinking of, Valerian. I don't know, now I'm doubting myself. I haven't really pet battled since... Warlords, I think. It's been a long time. I know what you're thinking, but why? So, you know how in Pokemon, the game is designed so that you can level your favorites? That there's not really such a thing as a team that's non-viable? Which allows you to not only focus on your favorites, but also gives you a tremendous variety in who you bring. WoW's kind of the opposite of that. In WoW, there is a tremendous variety of builds and setups, and the overwhelming majority of them are good against a very specific thing. So the super bosses, generally speaking, you want to walk into a super boss fight with 3 specific pets, which you may or may not have, and which you may or may not have leveled. I got to the point where I was doing the rounds of hitting all the legendary bosses, and I started to realize that it just involved getting the right team and then doing it. And it's like, my interest just kind of faded out a little bit.
Slow down.
Have you been able to acquire the stingers? I would normally ask a monk for help with this, but they all seem to be elsewhere at the moment. Doubly funny if you're playing a monk.
Goodbye.
My thanks. These will make for a fine set of quills. Here's something for your troubles.
Until next time.
Hello. Next one is on me.
There's only a small window of time after each petal falls that it may be used to achieve the perfect hue.
There is no hurry.
You have a wonderful eye for color, which is doubly funny, because I'm pretty sure... Oh, well, you can't see with my goggles, but yeah. These will make a superb pigment.
Jade Serpent.
And yes, J. Palmer would be the answer to your question. Alright, let's go help out the lovebirds. It's this brand new game I just invented, Zar. It's called Not Streaming for a Bit.
Welcome.
Oh, stranger, please tell me you can help us. They really hurt Lo.
May your days bring you joy.
My love Lo tried to get permission to marry me through the Pandriarchs. Though they passed beyond, their favor would carry a lot of weight. Thing is, they're spirits, and none of the gifts or tributes we brought impressed them. To win their favor, they claimed that either Lo or a champion must defeat them in single combat. Lo's a good man, but he's not a fighter. Would you be our champion?
I hope to see you again soon.
This is a hilarious quest to do in a group. Because if you have 3 people, you can just fight all 3 at the same time and absolutely murder them. And they're like, holy crap! Have I played Legend of Mana? Technically, yes, but functionally, no.
Greetings, Wanderer.
So this is Bramblestaff. Remember that for future.
May the mists protect you.
I suppose tradition at this point, Relictum. It's also indicative. Although I suppose I could call it short holiday, medium holiday, long holiday. But that's also a lie, because there's no holiday involved. Like, the whole point is that I'm going to be getting work done that isn't streaming. That's what the darks are, is that's when I go get off-camera work done. In this particular short dark, all I'll be doing is getting rid of the LGAs, for example.
What do you need?
This is Golden Draft, right here. I watch as my lineage is reduced to a faded memory around me. Once the greatest of all brewmasters, and now we stand as backstage to the Storm Stouts. Storm Stouts. What could they brew?
Goodbye.
Wonder Brew wants to marry a Golden Draft? Preposterous. I yield. Give the boy his the boy chose his champion well. Give him my blessing and make sure he does not squander it. Now let's talk to Windfur.
Hello.
I hear you're responsible for saving one of my young descendants from the clutches of the Jade Witch. Yes, actually we are. No, you're fine, Tsar.
There is no hurry.
You would champion the cause of a lowly street rat. Very well. Best me in combat. Okay. Pretty sure I can do that. Enough! You win, champion. Tell that upstart he has my blessing.
Hello.
Agreed. Fantastic. Thank you so much. With their blessing, we can be the happiest Pandaran in all the land. Please take this. We meant it to be tribute for the Pandriarchs, but they didn't seem interested. Here they are. See, I told you I could find anyone or anything. Mr. Golden Draft, I humbly ask your permission to marry your daughter, Syra. What? This is preposterous. Son, what are you doing? She's a Golden Draft. It is not her name I am interested in. It is her. She is the kindest, nicest, prettiest person I've ever met. My Shira will not be with both, father. I will. Lo was willing to fight the Patriarchs for me. It took Silverfur to champion us, but they consented. They agreed? Yes, and now with your permission, I would like to ask for your daughter's hand. Well, oh, come on, Paigey. I don't like it any better than you do, but there's honor in the Patriarch's blessings. Fine, what's done is done. Don't assume I like this, or you. Same. Let's get back to Dawn's Blossom. Wow, that was amazing. What next? Do you think you can get the Hosen and the Jinyu to get along? Cough, cough. Let's go ahead and do the Tian Monastery next. Well, no. Let's do things a little bit in a different order than what I usually do. Hey, Ross. You know what? I feel like doing this now. Nah, that sounds about right, Ross. Yeah, Iron Man is actually still the Pandaren I started Pandaria with. And by started, I mean the first Pandaren I made. Obviously, I didn't take him to Pandaria first. I took Frozen Sorrow to Pandaria. I think my favorite part is how many different types of trees there are in the different biomes here. You may or may not recognize this spot up here. We did a scenario here, right here. Here's the Tian Monastery. We'll see more of this later. I'm just kind of taking in some details. Oh, hang on, hang on. It's a little off center. There we go. By the way, for those of you unaware, that over there, that's Kunlai. We'll get there later. One of the things I love about this, probably coincidentally, but it is interesting how... Do you see how absolutely gargantuan that Mogu stronghold is there? Well, if you remember, the one at the southern end, the one we did on the Alliance, is also gigantic. Which means percentage-wise, a non-insubstantial amount of the golden... the Jade Forest, excuse me, is taken up by the real estate of 2 Mogu forts. Oh, you're probably right, Victim. Unfortunately, we'll never know. Sadness. Oh, God damn it. Not now. Probably is Miristar. Now, that is a substantial real estate footprint as well. But that is definitively Pandaren. We won't give any brickworks to that one, though. Not yet. That'll be part of the dungeon. Yep, that is a temple for one of the major Loa of the area. The Loa of Wisdom, if I'm remembering correctly, but she's a Jade Serpent, specifically. And yes, if you're paying attention, that is a Jade statue of a serpent right there in front of us. Right, the August Celestials, also known as Loa. And I'll never call them anything otherwise. But they're wild gods! That's true, and I don't care. They're Loa. Moving on. One of my favorite details is this section right here. There's just so many little details right there. Ignore. Why am I still drunk? Oh, got it. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. No, it does make sense. They all call them different things. I wouldn't say they're the only ones, J. Palmer. As I've pointed out many times, Bwansamdi is weirdly legit. He takes his job pretty seriously. Not yet. Oh, I got a Spirit Star. Excuse me. The first one we'll really encounter will be relatively soon, though. Gosh darn it. What? Yeah, Bwansamdi. Alright, so. Okay, sorry. Jotting down some notes. Right. Now we're going down here. Yeah, these people don't have a lot of use for something like printing presses. I mean, it's not like they couldn't use it, but they don't really mass-produce anything. Pandarans live long, like, naturally, and they also have a long average lifespan because of the general lack of threats. Speaking of, if you come to speak with my fist, take your place in line. Otherwise, I could use your help. The damn Mogu hit us out of nowhere. Anyone who they don't kill in sight is being dragged away into the woods. This is the only safe house, and it's all I can do to hold the door. What say you? You willing to stand up and fight for the weak? People of this village are simple farmers, not fighters like you or I. Still, they're stubborn. Search the village for anyone still on their feet. Tell them to rally here. Who's out there? Shao? Is it safe?
What wisdom do you see?
You're the first person to come through that door who was in shock, injured, or both. I hope that means you can help.
Keep your eyes and heart open.
We've tended these orchards and made cider from the nectar for generations. In that time, we learned a special trick for putting out fires in a pinch. The cider itself, when mixed with crushed ginger leaf and saliva, becomes sticky and viscous, perfect for smothering flames. While you're out there, try to get the flames under control.
The world is your teacher.
They may not be weapon masters, but many of my farmers can wield a hoe or a rake as an extension of their own will. That mastery, coupled with the right motivation, could muster a force capable of standing against the Mogu. If you can bring back some tools, I'll distribute them to anyone willing to fight.
Live for your dreams.
So yes, this is our first real introduction to the Mogu in any real fashion. Just a bunch of Mogu raiders. Note that they have no real weapons to speak of. Now, let's go ahead and start with the obvious. These are, for all intents and purposes, bandits. And they are, I'd say, perfectly positioned in terms of threat level as bandits. In other words, they are threatening, but only to the locals. And even then, not really. You'll notice the locals were actually successfully holding them off until we show up and we just kind of bulldoze through them. And that's an important key cornerstone of what the Mogu are. They're not really a threat. And that is a huge narrative point, as weird as that probably sounds.
Tell me of your travels.
The second interesting thing about the Mogu here is you have to understand that in Mogu culture, weapons are venerated to the point of effectively being worshipped. In other words, one of the highest possible ranks or titles you could have is Weapon Master. Someone who could actually wield multiple weapons at once? Holy crap. That guy. Whew, watch out for that guy. And remember, none of these Mogu have weapons.
Greetings, wanderer.
Are all Mogu evil? Now that is a fascinating question. The answer is no, but it's worth noting that's pretty recent of a change. It wasn't until BFA that we were ever introduced to any Mogu who were not essentially kill on sight. Part of the problem is the Mogu have everything going against them culturally, and always have, actually. I don't want to go fully in detail into who and what the Mogu are right now, but all you need to know is, think about the Tauren, right? Now, they're mostly peaceful, but part of the reasons they're peaceful... Exactly, Shadow Lord. Part of the reason that they're peaceful... I don't know what you're talking about, Jay Palmer, sorry. Is because they're so high tier. Because Tauren are death machines in lore. So they can afford to not be, a warmongering, slavering race. The Mogu are supposed to be high tier. They're built that way. But they have their own problems. Oh, Narushin. Narushin's a watcher. He doesn't count. He's not a Mogu at all. I'm sitting here like, who? Yeah, Narushin, he's a watcher. I actually talk about the nature of the Mogu quite a bit during the Warcraft series. Yeah, exactly. Villagers know. If you're wondering of the specific episode I talk about the Mogu, it's two. One is during Crasserang Wilds, and one is during the Throne of Thunder. And just to say this, because, we basically just gave that away, yes, the Mogu are yet another Titan-forged race. In other words, a species that originated from being constructed by the Titans, and has since degenerated into this. No, it's fine. I try very hard not to be like, all right, so these are the Mogu, and then explain everything about them forever, and then have nothing to talk about for the next, like, 10 times they show up. I've been trying to push back against that trend. I understand it's impossible to resist, though. Yeah, Titan stuff lasts a long, long time. For good and for bad.
Greetings.
Yeah, the Titans, as I've mentioned a few times, and has already shown up, and has been reinforced in War Within, the Titans built everything to constantly be under maintenance, or admin, or however you want to think of that. In other words, nothing they built was designed to operate without them being there running the system. The Titans have been gone for about 12 millennia, something like that. So, things have been kind of going their own ways ever since. There's a tidbit. Now, we've actually already seen this, believe it or not. At least a hint of it, but there's a tidbit in War Within where they explicitly mention how the certain Titan Forge were being built to do X. However, as they were accomplishing X, they kept doing things that were not X, which was considered an aberration, of course. Naturally, they kept having to show up and well, mind wipe the people in question. You know, like erasing a droid's memory in Star Wars. Pretty much the exact same concept. In order to try and keep them in line. Do you mind? Oh, right. Move it over here. Nice work, but there's more work to be done if we're going to save the village. They're inside. Alive. Shaken, but alive, thanks to you.
Tell me of your travels.
A survivor came in moments ago and said the flames are beginning to die down. We owe our very life to you, a way of life to you, stranger. I cannot possibly reward you adequately, but please take this.
Spirits bless your path.
There are no rogues among us, but we'll fight to protect our loved
Keep your
ones.
eyes and heart open.
Whoops.
Welcome.
First, before the war cries, we heard the trees, groaning, creaking, and crashing down as the Mogu cut their way through the woods. They were making their return trip easier. They're dragging our friends down the path of the ruins to the west. Those ruins have been empty for years. Our children play there. Why would the Mogu come back to them now?
Next one is on me.
Now I gotta say it right. My task is done. I should mention there's two other constants about the Mogu. First, they actually think they can ambush me. Peekaboo. Oh, they evaded. Oh, well, whatever. First of all, they are very short-term centric. They will absolutely Shrek and destroy terrain and resources and culture and everything in ways that will have years or decades or centuries of consequences without a care because they need something right now. Second thing is they sneeze a lot. Doesn't look like a quick snatch and grab. They're setting up for something big. Can you see them? Farmers from the orchard tied up and under inspection, being hauled off in chains. The Mogu value strength above all else. Anyone deemed fit for work will be sent to the camps. Let's not waste any more time. Thanks to you, there's a small militia of farmers hiding nearby. Hane said something about giving them liquid courage, which I'm pretty sure means they're sauced and angry. The Mogul think they can walk all over us. We'll give them a fight that'll open their eyes. Follow the trail through the ruins and down the beach. Find the leader, and when you do, we'll back you up. I mean, Anduin's gonna be after this, Lord Hermot. And this is the conclusionary arc of the Hellscream War. The last time the Horde and Alliance fight... Anyways, the other thing about the Mogu, and this is the one of, I think this is our third major dominant theme of the expansion so far. I don't know what you're talking about, Jay Palmer. Legion doesn't count, Ashram doesn't count. And I mean that, to be very clear. Neither of those count. Ashram isn't even in lore, to be really blunt. None of the events of Ashram are actually happening. It's a throwaway time bubble of PvP. And the Legion stuff is almost entirely extremist, predominantly pushed by Greymane and his jackasses, including Admiral Rogers, you know, the lady from this expansion. Correct, these are fleshy Mogu. Weak Mogu. That's interesting. Like, everything about Ashram completely contradicts the lore. And the Legion stuff is extremely localized. BFA... I don't know if I can blame Greymane or not. I mean, I kind of can, but I kind of can't. It's really frustrating, actually. Because Greymane has decided that while the Burning Legion are actively invading, is the perfect time to try and get revenge on Sylvanas. Now, I feel for the guy. A lot, actually. Despite what some people might think. But, like, time and place? Oof, okay. Now, if you'll excuse me. Enjoy the view. Regardless, however justified Greymane may or may not have been, is not the point of my statement. Screw him, but that's unrelated. The point is, what he was doing was not HVA. One guy gathering together a few like-minded terrorists, let's call them what they are, in order to go and try to affect some change in the world order, is not the Horde and Alliance fighting each other again. In fact, part of the reason that the HVA thing starting up so much bothered me so much in BFA is specifically because of the fact that we spent actual years at that point not having HVA. Pandaria was the end of it, or was supposed to be the end of it. And it's stuck in Warlords, and it's stuck in Legion, so yeah. Some of you were there when they announced BFA. I was covering that BlizzCon live. I got so pissed and de-incentivized and just done with the whole thing as they're like, yeah, it's going to be HVA, we're going to fight each other, it's going to be so great, that I actually just started playing Mega Man on the side rather than even bothering to pay attention. It's probably the first time in my life that I looked at WoW and I was just like, alright, I'm good. And I did quit in the middle of BFA. And at the beginning of Shadowlands. We didn't even finish... I don't think I've told this story before, and I'll tell it when we get there, but we didn't even finish the full Shadowlands story arc before we quit. We were just like, nah, we're good. Going straight from BFA to that? The Pandaren were subjected to Mogul rule in ancient time, and we'll never let it happen again. This is extremely unsettling. If they're banding like this all over the continent, it could be a major threat! But the good news is they're not, because they're Mogul. They're about as pathetic as it gets. It's part of their appeal. We hadn't finished Maldraxxus. I don't remember the exact point in time we stopped, but it was somewhere around there. At least I think it was Maldraxxus. No, I'm wrong. It was Ardenweald. My bad. I know it was before Revendreth because we didn't go back to do Revendreth until we came back to WoW after Dragonflight was already out. Yeah, I got to the third zone. I'm almost positive because I'm pretty sure we had gotten to a certain point of that. I was like, all right. I'm good. Like, there's still some dungeons I might not have done in Shadowlands. Or if I have, like, no memory of it. Because I only did it once. Ever. Yeah, like, Spires of Ascension. What the hell is this? When does this play? When does this happen? What else we got here? Halls of Atonement? No idea what that is. I know I've never done Tazavesh, but that's because this is the Mega Dungeon. Let's see. I know I did the Necrotic Wake. That's like right at the beginning. I know I did Plaguefall. That was in Maldraxxus. Mists of Tyrannus Scythe. Oh, I remember this one. I have done this one too. Theater of Pain? I don't remember that one. I do remember Deicide. That's a good dungeon. And not just because of one Samdi. That was a good one. That was a good dungeon. Sanguine Depths? I don't remember this one either. Holy crap. I legitimately don't remember like half of these dungeons. And raid-wise, well, I happen to know I did several Shadowlands raids. I did Castle Nathria, at level, even. I have done one fight here, which is the Sylvanas fight, and nothing else. And I've run through the Sepulchre at level whatever we currently are, 90, 80, whatever it is. I've smashed through here, over-leveled. And that's it. That's my exposure to Shadowlands. Look, I'm not saying Shadowlands is hot garbage. You gotta understand. I walked into Shadowlands needing a win after the hot mess that was BFA. I didn't get a win.
Oh, hello. Travel safe.
We've arrived at an exciting time. High Elder Cloudfall has agreed to take on a new class of trainees within the monastery. This could be my big chance to finally learn how to fight.
May your days bring you
How
joy.
strange to have a foreign-looking rogue. How do you know I'm a rogue? Visiting our temple. Are you here to study? You look very strong. You wouldn't have any trouble getting accepted in. You should talk to the High Elder.
Farewell.
What wisdom do you seek?
Welcome to Tian Monastery. I see young Lin has helped you understand the role we fulfill in our hilltop village. We are unaccustomed to outsiders. You would do us great honor to train alongside our younglings. We do not have anything to offer you, except knowledge, and perhaps an appreciation of what it means to be Pandaren.
May you find mastery in your passions.
Welcome. Travel safe.
I heard. The High Elder wants you to train with us. There's going to be a banquet for us, the trainees, and you should probably bring a gift as a sign of courtesy. The oranges in the South Grove are extra sweet right now. Bring some back for the banquet. I actually have done the Dazarlor raid.
May your days bring you joy.
However, So I did an LFR of Dazarlor, kind of intermittently, and then we went back to do it on Mythic later, and physically couldn't. We ran into the final boss of that raid, and it was actually impossible to do. Supposedly they have since nerfed it so that it's actually doable now. I look forward to finding out. No, this would have been during Dragonflight when we went back. Hence the term going back. I did get the joy of experiencing Uldir at level. And the last few bosses of, God, what's it called? Is this it? Eternal Palace. Yeah, Eternal Palace. So I haven't seen any of these bosses. But I have seen this one. Nyalotha I actually got to do some of at level. But there's a boss I have literally never killed to this very day. Because even in LFR, you needed the cloak, and a lot of people didn't have the cloak.
Tell me of your travels. I hope to see you
Are you
again
ready for the
soon.
banquet? I can't wait.
May your days
All of these
bring
do
you
perfectly.
joy.
What a thoughtful gift. Me? I'm bringing beer, of course.
Farewell.
The banquet should be starting any time now. Go find the High Elder.
I hope to see you again soon.
I'm pretty sure that's an extremely recent change, Cloden. Because I remember the same patches when they nerfed the Dazarlor raid. And I remember it because they specifically nerfed it because they've got that new Ultra Metal achievement. Which I think is in the game now. Yep, there it is. I've actually done some of this. That's funny. Yep, have not killed N'Zoth the Corrupt. It's the only boss I haven't killed. I just backed up my words right there. That's funny. I haven't even done Dungeon Hero. I need to do that. I remember Papa Neeks. Aw. Sorry.
You have the eyes of one who has traveled much.
Also, you can skip this cutscene, which I find hilarious. Welcome. We are honored to have you as our guest. Today we celebrate not only your arrival, but the initiation of a new class of trainees within our monastery. Alright, so, would you eat... Hang on.
Slow down. Life is
Would you eat
to be
the
savored.
citrus fish, the giant plate of vegetabled rice, or the buns? You get one thing. Which one do you pick? Which one do you pick? You also, no matter what, get a giant mug of ale. And some bananas. Are they meat buns? We don't know what they put in the buns. They've also got a giant pot of stew as well. Well, either way, I'd probably go with the rice. Play it safe.
You are most welcome.
Let us start with the three who sit behind me. Before you sit Instructor Myan. She'll be responsible for teaching you the most practical fighting techniques. It is said that before she joined our monastery, Myan defeated 100 ravaging Hosen in a single melee. You flatter me. Those Hosen were weak, young, and unskilled. Any other Pandaren would have done the same. Latter, you are 8 years old. And a half, sir. Next we have Master Stonefist. He will be leading your sparring exercises. Master Stonefist is nearly unmatched in single combat. He once defeated 999 challengers in a row. The 1000th challenger cheated. What? Cheated? Oh, I never cheat! Finally, Instructor Jean. His mastery of very basics of combat has given him a nearly perfect fighting form. How many practice strikes do your students perform daily? 10,000 strikes every day. And how many do you perform? 10,001. Luckily, High Elders no longer have to perform basic training. I find that I am happier when I am not exercising. Walk and drink with me, Silverfur. On this table you see Spirit Sage Gao Quan, the oldest member of the monastery. The guy walking on the table. He has seen many High Elders come and go. He also takes these celebrations very seriously. You may have noticed the Hosen and Jinyu among us. All are welcome at the monastery, as long as they have a desire to learn. Also, free education. This is Groundskeeper Wu. Wu! Yes, High Elder? Wu, this is Silverfur. He will be joining the other trainees. Oh, hello, Silverfur. Wu will be asking you to perform a few chores. Nothing complex, just some tasks related to the maintenance of the monastery. We are all responsible for maintaining our home. Even the High Elder must occasionally lend a hand. See, I am helping by picking up this full mug of ale that someone left on the ground. Now you're caught up. Would you look at that? My cup is full again. It's good to be High Elder.
Tell me of your
That concludes your introductions. You should be ready to begin training. That is, you should after we have one more mug of ale. Perhaps two.
May you find master.
Sure thing. Go on. Go on. What? Ugh. Yeah, I'm awake. What I miss?
Tell me of your travels.
By the way, I love this small detail. Almost everyone has a bowl of rice in front of them. Zhao here has 5. He's also like twice the size of any other Pandaren.
Hello.
Have you tried the rice? You really need to try the rice.
May the mists...
He does not look up from his bowl. Hey, new guy! Glad to see you survived the banquet. Trial 1 complete. You better speak up with Instructor Jean. He's expecting you for your daily exercises. He is continuing eating. You suspect he's done talking to you.
Next one is on me.
We don't have any rules here, but we do have one particular rule that is worth remembering. If you want to eat, you have to work. You can get your chores for the day. He's in the market to the west.
Jade Serpent, guide.
Eating is a form of trading too, you know.
There is no hurry.
Chili oil. Chili oil? What's chili oil? All right, Worgen, I'd like to see what you're really made of. You'll find my pupils all over the monastery. Challenge them to fights. Push them to their limits. They've been instructed to do the same to you. Win or lose, you will come out the stronger.
Until next time.
Sure.
Greetings, Wanderer. May the mists protect you.
Let me just shoot this guy with my gun that I have. You know, to train.
Hello. Jade Serpent, guide.
Because this is how I train, is by shooting people in the face.
Welcome. Travel safe. I hope to see you again soon.
Just imagine Pirates of the Caribbean music. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. I mean, I guess it's no more deadly than the literal daggers I'm wielding. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Right now I'm actually wielding... What is that? It's a mace. Sure. And meanwhile, Warlock is like, oh, I will rip your soul out. And the Demon Hunter's like, I'm not going to rip your soul out, but I'm going to shred it. What? Yeah, I'm going to shred your soul. What? You weren't using those pieces of your soul anyways. Pieces of my soul? Yeah. You know, like, slice, you know. Alright, it's time to bring out everyone's favorite. Come here, Gizmo.
Greetings, Wanderer.
Let's do this. Oh, wait, it's not Gizmo, it's Socks. It actually says Socks. I didn't know it actually said Socks. I just, you know, logically assumed it was Socks. Come, Socks.
Travel safe.
Let us defeat the enemy for great justice. That's right, Gizmo's the sniped one. You're right, you're right. I'm curious. Oh, well. I don't think it does anything. It just summons the pet, who is gone already. He didn't attack anything, he was just there.
What do you need?
He eyes you warily. All right, I've seen enough. No more beating up the younger pupils. We will proceed to the next phase.
Enough of that.
If you are strong, I give you respect. If you are weak, I give you encouragement. If you're my enemy, then I give you my fists. Several times over, if necessary.
White Tiger watch over
On the
you.
hills to my right, you'll find a Hosen named Gigi. He, too, won enough sparring matches to move up the ranks. I think he'll provide you with more of a challenge.
Goodbye. Until next
The
time.
Jinyu are long-standing allies of the Pandaren, and we welcome any of their kind into our monastery. Hushun, one of their elder shaman, is one of the newest trainees. His skills as a monk are mediocre at best, but he's a fierce combatant. He should provide you the challenge you desire.
Enough of that. White Tiger.
Surprisingly, you can find him by the water.
Yep.
Stand back! Gigi practicing here. Anybody gets within 500, you're probably getting knocked out, or even killed! Yeah! You wanna fight? About time someone challenged me! Mwahaha. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh god, is that a gun? Ah, it's a gun! You shot me! You shot me, you coward! Alright, enough! Stop hitting Gigi.
Welcome.
Yep. Sorry, had to shoot you twice just to be sure. Sure of what? You know how it is. Oh, what is? Ah! Ah! I knew I would lose. The rivers told me so. Rivers were like, hey, there's this Worgen who's going to show up. He's going to beat your ass with a gun. And I said, what's a gun? And then you showed up.
Speak up. Goodbye.
It appears I must move you up the ranks yet again, rogue.
Enough of that.
I must warn you, if you continue defeating my best trainees, I will no longer be able to train you, and then you'll have no excuse to enjoy the presence of my company. Think wisely before you quickly dispatch any more of my students. It's difficult to tell if Master Stonefist is joking.
White Tiger watch over you.
You've already beaten my best student, Zhao, at the banquet tables. I personally would have graduated him several times over, but Instructor Zhan insists he needs more discipline. If you ask me, discipline means very little if you win every fight you enter. I'm curious if he can keep his streak alive. Caution, he's been known to throw his food.
Until next time.
Alright, Creamy. I need you to fight this giant panda.
Tell me of your travels.
Time for an open-faced Worgen sandwich. What's a Worgen? Shut up. Here, come here. Away from the table. No? You refuse to leave the table to fight me. Okay. I can accept that. Oh, you win this time. I better get back to my size training. In all honesty, I'm not joking when I say the Pandorans are kind of high-tier. I don't want to call them apex predators, but like, you know, they have a lot of natural advantages, just like the Tauren do. They are long-lived, they are big, and they are strong. Yeah, we're pretty much locked in, Creamy.
Slow down.
I must admit, I was never surprised. You are a born fighter and an excellent rogue. Yeah, they're frickin' bears.
Enough.
Everybody knows not to mess with frickin' bears. Unless you really know what you're doing. I have taught you everything I can. It's time you spoke with Instructor Myong. The fight she stages are less traditional than the sparring matches I'm used to. Nevertheless, the path of a traveling adventurer like yourself is unpredictable, and a broad knowledge of fighting styles is an admirable trait. Farewell. Best of luck on the remainder of your training.
White Tiger watch over you.
I have to admit, only recently has Outlaw started to grow on me. It took a while to get to the point where I felt like I was doing anything. But then again, I guess several classes have that problem. Where do I want to go next? It's almost like I planned that, Papanix. I have to admit, I don't understand this ability at all. It's a 6-minute cooldown to increase the remaining duration of your Roll the Bones enhancement by 30 seconds. So if you get a double bones, you pop that to get another 30 seconds. But it's a 6-minute cooldown. That makes no sense to me. Like, if that was a minute, or even 90 seconds at the top end, sure, but 6? I'm not picking that up, if it's not obvious. You can tell, because it's not on my bar. I'm going to grab Blade Rush, and I am going to grab Ghostly Strike, though. Which means, let's grab that. And that. And over here, I want that one. I think that is supposed to be Van Cleef, since Outlaw. Yeah, Van Cleef, and then Verisa as Assassination. I have no idea who Subtlety is, though. Some dude. Let's get these quests over with first. These are quicker and easier. Could be Shaw. Subtlety sounds like him. Except it kind of doesn't, isn't it? After all, Subtlety is all about being a mage knight. Oh, that makes sense, Schmeidolf. You're right. First, you drink too much beer, then you show up to class late? It looks like you're already conforming to Pandaran culture.
Until next time.
Perfection can be achieved through repetition. Every single student in the training area will eventually perfect his or her form, assuming they don't give up first. This is a fact. I encourage you to join them. As honorary guest, you do not have to do the requisite 10,000 daily strikes. Simply follow along for a few minutes.
Goodbye.
I mean, Shaw hardly ever does any combat of any kind. He's a spy master. And that makes sense. He probably shouldn't be fighting. Pick a spot here. I mean, this is Warcraft, where even leaders know what to do in a fight. By the way, hi, Kennex Cow. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. Yep, we gotta defeat the Huns, everybody. But yeah, in WoW, most of the leaders tend to be higher level. It's actually an extreme rarity that they're not. I mean, considering what Shaw has to do on a regular basis, it would make more sense to me that he has essentially no real combat abilities. Like, you know, nothing of note or worth. Unfortunately, he's probably some super amazing rogue, too. The main guy I was actually thinking of was the leader of the Mechanomes. No, not the current one. The boss of the dungeon.
Speak up. White Tiger watch over you.
Your next test also involves concentration and attention. I want you to practice your abilities on the training bags. When I call it left, attack the bag on the left. When I call it right, attack the bag on the right. If you fail to follow my instructions, the task will be much harder.
Goodbye.
Okay. I'm not sure, Bragwin. Most influential person in WoW who can't fight? Oh, geez, that's a good question. You may not be a full-time trainee, but do not let that keep you from learning anything. I can assure you the ability to switch quickly in targets will prove valuable in future fights.
Enough of that.
I don't know, I saw Moira in that frickin' raid. Holy crap. But that being said, Moira is very low tier when it comes to priests, so that wouldn't be a bad guess or a bad pick. Now I got a better answer for you. Dagran. No, not the elder. The younger.
Slow down.
Silverfur, is it? The High Elder's favorite son? Yes, I remember you from the banquet. Don't expect any special treatment from me, boy. You'll be working just as hard as the greenest Pandaran trainee here. Perhaps harder.
Until next time.
First things first, though. A proper trainee needs a proper weapon, and the scrupulous trainee builds his own. Or at least gathers the material. The switches which grow nearby should be sufficient for a respectable weapon. You also need to shop for a black walnut extract. And while you're there, get some ale for... Well, you know what ale is for.
Enough of that.
I hope Dagran doesn't gain any class levels, for lack of a better way to put that. Because I like Dagran as he is, you know? He's awesome. Yeah, he needs to be another Braun. Someone else who's not very high tier, actually, now that we're thinking about it. Braun's a hell of an explorer, but, like, he's a low-level nobody in a fight. Or at least, that's how it was. Until War Within showed up. Still, Braun's relatively low tier compared to a lot of others, like both of his brothers. That's true, Akira White Noise. Oh, Gazlo. That's another good pick. I like that. Alright, I'm just going to take these switches. Is that okay? Hey, hey! What are you doing? You're stealing my inventory, aren't you? Don't make me stand up. I'll do it. I swear. I'm about to stand up. Here I go. Oh, who am I kidding? You are a wily one, thief.
Welcome. Hello. Next one is on me.
Oh, I need 3 of those.
Hello. There is no hurry.
Greetings.
Actually, that's an interesting point. Gallywix and Mechatork both would qualify as relatively low level. I know that sounds weird, especially as this Mechatork is literally a raid boss, but think about it. We're not fighting Mechatork, we're fighting his mechs, right? I know that's kind of an asterisk-y answer, but I'm pretty sure if you just picked Mechatork out and threw him out into a fight, he'd get clobbered.
What do you need?
So Mechatork might be another good candidate for that.
White Tiger watch over you.
I will have the weapon prepared for you by the end of your training. Now on to the real work.
Until next time.
Do you know what happens if you slack off in all your monastery classes? You become groundskeeper. That's what happens. It's not all that bad. I get my own broom.
Goodbye.
Some of our trainees have larger than normal appetites. We have occasionally had difficulty supplying food for all of them. In times like these, we have to ask for help. A kindly older woman who lives in a small house to the northwest has agreed to make some stew for our trainees. All you have to do is go get it.
Enough of that. Until next
The
time.
black walnut extract you purchased from Miss Whiteblossom is but one of the extracts we need for our various applications. Brush leaf can be gathered from the flowers in the waxwood forest. Several units can be extracted from one flower, but only those with calm nerves and steady hands can remove all the extracts from one flower.
White Tiger watch over you.
The greenwood sprites of the waxwood forest to the west pose no direct threat. This is true. However, their numbers have increased as of late, as have their wily antics. Part of the duty of the wardens is to maintain balance. Your duty is to do so by returning them to the earth.
Goodbye. Until next time.
I gotta be honest, I've talked many, many times about retiring to the Valley of the Four Winds and just kind of becoming a farmer. So, you know, a subsistence farmer kind of a thing. But my second pick would probably be the Tian Monastery. You train, you work, you eat. And that's kind of it.
Patience, patience.
Greetings. You're becoming quite famous amongst the trainees here. I've already heard your name whispered several times, usually between the puffy and discolored lips of one of your sparring partners. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Stay focused.
Master Stonefist has trained you in the art of one-on-one. Now you'll learn the art of one-on-many. How does 50 sound?
May your deeds
Let's
live
do
on.
it. See you around, J. Palmer. Have fun with cards. Look, haven't you seen the Doctor Strange movie? They're not savages. They've got a Wi-Fi password. Guys, could you... Oh, there we go. We need you to attack more often than that, okay? Thanks. I mean, to think about it, most fictional settings probably wouldn't have, you know, the internet. Except for some settings where you'd have too much internet, like Cyberpunk. You know another ability I miss that Outlaws used to have? The cannon shot. I was actually just thinking to myself, I have one AoE ability. I'm pretty sure I could talent into 2. But, like, that's it. Outlaws do not have a lot of AoE potential that I'm aware of.
Hello.
Your rogue fighting style is strong. Our trainees could learn much from you.
Goodbye.
I mean, they're already doing the massive overhaul of Druid and Hunter, Mark's Hunter specifically, in the upcoming patch. Wouldn't surprise me if they look at Rogue soon. Although, Subtlety is in a pretty good spot, not gonna lie.
Slow down.
Might I ask a favor of you, trainee Silverfur? Before I came to the monastery, I was a stranger to battle. During my time as a trainee, I performed adequately, but I was never placed in any real danger. Now I am a graduate and earning a wage-earning guard. I'm expected to patrol the perimeter at all times. Costs. I can handle Greenwood sprites, but the tigers are something different. Would you mind taking care of them for me?
White Tiger watch over.
We have not had any real negatives to speak of, Clouden. More than anything else, that's why Pandaria is going to stomp. A lot of WoW, even going as far back as BC, has had good. But how many zones have not had bad? Now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I can see a couple of quests in Krasserring not being great. And a couple in Kun Lai. That might be it, honestly. That might be the full list. We might give negatives to Landfall. That's actually still undetermined. Townlong Steps is short. That's its biggest flaw, is it's mostly just a bridge zone in between Kun Lai and the Dread Wastes. You finish the Kun Lai arc there, and you start the Dread Waste arc there. Luthor mentioned something about not liking the Pandaren dungeons. I'm curious how they'll review. Obviously, we're just doing normals, so it's whatever. But I don't remember any of them unfondly. Is there a difference in my approach to a game included in the Lore Runner's picks versus a regular one? No, Creamy. The biggest distinction that tends to happen is how well I know a game. Any game I know better is going to result in a better review. a more accurate review because I know the game better, which, duh, right? That's exactly why they're labeled as such. So anybody looking at the final score can see how well I knew a game before I walked in and reviewed it. A game like WoW I know inside and out. Like, I've literally seen the code of this game. Whereas a game like, say, Dragon Age 4, when you review that, for obvious reasons, I've never played before. Well, Lore's list is kind of a vague classification. It's any game that might be interesting to stream. It's also something I haven't updated or paid attention to in probably over a year at this point, because actually reviewing a game I want to review isn't something that's been in the cards for ever, my entire streaming career. So, I'm not really used to being able to pick what I want to stream. Now, having said that, I do actually have a list of games that I would like to stream at some point in the future. But that's all waiting until the queue's caught up. Either way, a game I want to stream also does not necessarily make a game better, or a better review for that matter. I'll use a direct example. A game I was interested in was Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin from last year. It looked interesting, and it was an insight into the new era of Warhammer Fantasy, which is something I wanted to know. And, I don't know, it looked cool. It looked like a cool insight into that and a follow-through for a Warhammer Fantasy game, so I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Then I played it. It's okay, though, because the next game we played not too long after that was Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, a game I was looking forward to playing, which I also wanted to review Mummy Demastered. That didn't work out great. Actually, the number of games from last year I wanted to review that turned out badly is not a small list. I somewhat jokingly and somewhat not started thinking, man, I apparently just have really bad taste. Yeah, let's look at this list, shall we? So we have, let's see, scroll. I mean, Star Trek Resurgence was okay, so I'll give you that. But I wanted to cover Modern Warfare 2R. That was a big one for me. Scooch past these. Iron Harvest, which was, Age of Sigmar, yeah. Starfield, yeah. Star Wars Squadrons. Maneater turned out okay, so that was good. But Wargroove was another one I was really looking forward to, and that... And there's Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Now, in my defense, I really wanted to review Breath of Fire 2, but I knew that was going to be a bad game walking into it. Hello, Mother Woo.
Welcome, Wanderer.
Thank you for the stew. You know, Maneater just unexpectedly was awesome. It was a nice refresher after having picked so many bad games this last year. And by picked, I mean being interested in. I didn't pick any of those. I haven't put Dealer's Choice towards a game I actually want to play ever, like I said. Soon. By which I mean a few more months. Yes, of course I'm dragging the giant boiling stew pot on the ground. What, isn't that how you transport stew?
Speak up. Enough of that.
The lid is literally popping from how hot it is. It's okay. I know the best way to keep this stew in good condition. We're going to drag it across the water. And then up the stairs. There's nothing wrong with my brilliant strategy here. Ah, you have no idea how glad I am to see you. Supervising is hungry work.
Hmm? Goodbye.
I will see to it that stew is distributed evenly and appropriately amongst the trainees. After I set aside some for myself, of course.
White Tiger watch over you.
It is said the ancient herbalism masters were able to remove 20 vials of extract from each blossom.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to wash your hands. Blush leaf stains forever.
Until
And we both have furry hands, too. Thank you. The sprite's numbers will return in several days' time, but for now, balance is maintained.
enough of that.
Well, you've done all I can with you. High Elder Cloudfall will be waiting at the banquet grounds to celebrate your departure. Not that we're happy you're leaving, he just enjoys celebrations.
White Tiger watch over you.
I suppose I can't argue that. That's true! The Warrior of Light would literally be carrying that over their head. Canonically, FF14 is better than WoW in every way. Let's go have another feast. Let's see, last time I had the rice. This time I think I'll have a dumpling.
You have the eyes of one who has traveled much.
Congratulations, Silverfur. While your traineeship was strictly honorary, your results were undeniably impressive. The young ones look up to you. A groundskeeper Wu had this prepared for you. Please use it as you see fit. Let's grab the other mace.
Family, friends, food.
3 cheers. 3 cheers and 3 beers. Glug, glug. They call it beer, but I bet you what they're drinking is not really beer. At least not in any real sense of the word. Hello, Sigmund Freud. This is... We've never reviewed WoW before. So we are reviewing WoW. And that is what we're doing. Let's see. I wanted to go over here, didn't I? Yes. So let's grab that. Well, I suppose that's a valid question. Tian Beer... It's the Tian Beer Fetcher. Yeah, isn't beer traditionally lower proof? I should admit I am not an alcohol person, but... Like, isn't that a thing? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I know nothing. Ignore me. Yeah, there you go. 24% on the high end. That's pathetic! We gotta have some real alcohol, like that 220 proof dwarven stuff. Oh god. What is that quest?
Where are you from?
Oh,
Bye-bye.
right. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Hello.
Alright, I called in every favor I could. Here's what we got. Cho must be onto something big. Let me know when you're ready to go. I got a ride all prepped for you.
May the mists protect you.
Sure. Let's see what Cho's up to. I mean, even 190 is pretty high by Warcraft standards. It's just, the dwarves go even higher than 190 because, and this is important, they're dwarves. Oh my god, not Skull Smash. I still prefer that being soup. I'm sorry, I will never budge on that. It makes so much more sense if it's just soup. Just giant things of soup, and you're like, glug, 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 glug. Thud.
I would love to help you, Law Walker, but understand, I am in a real bind here.
But look who has arrived. Mrs. Mann, there's someone I would like you to meet.
Hey, it's the mean Queen of Green.
Hello.
Hello, Silverfur. You received my message, then?
Tread lightly.
I knew Toya would come through for me. He can get anything, you know.
This ancient fresco was once inlaid with jade. Oh, but it has fallen into ruin, and now its wisdom is lost to us. With the sudden arrival of strangers on Pandaria, I believe we'll need the lessons our history can teach us.
I understand, Law Walker, but the Serpent's Heart project is behind schedule, and we've not a stone to spare. Come, speak with me.
Our whole Jade supply line has fallen apart. The mines are a death trap. Morale is historically low. And if that weren't bad enough, the Mason's Court is overridden by wood sprites. Even the plants are out to ruin me. You need Jade so badly, follow the road southwest and get it from those glorified chopsticks yourself.
You expect this dumpling to clean up the Mason's Quarter? They barely even got a belly on them.
Hey!
Have patience, Mrs. Mann. These strangers from beyond the mist continually surprise me.
Okay, actually, yeah, no, I have, like, the opposite of a belly. I have a convex stomach. And entirely too much upper body. Does Pandaria feel like a big step up from Cataclysm so far? Oh, God, yes. It's just... Yes. Yeah, Jade Forest is already, before we've even finished the zone, the highest scoring zone we've ever reviewed. Living statues rampage through the woods. For now, they seem content in pummeling the forest sprites to splinters. But if they continue any further, the Pandaren will have more than just missing Jade to worry about. I wonder what these strange Mogu-looking things are. They're a lot less talkative than the Mogu down south. And of course, these ones are made of stone. So, here's an interesting little facet of Mogu society. Near as we can tell, they don't procreate the normal way, the biological way, if you will. They carve new statues, and then they animate them. Now, they do have a process to convert some of those into flesh, but near as I can tell, that is reserved as an insult. Like, that's a punishment, is you get converted into flesh. Now, the thing is, I'd love to go far more in detail into that, but the reality is, I don't actually have any more detail than that. We never actually find out how they have the ability to deliberately spread the curse of flesh, nor how they prevent it from spreading elsewise. But they do consistently seem to have that ability. It's worth noting, by the way, and this is actually considered unusual, Lei Shen, he's flesh. A lot of his higher up minions and supreme military generals and all those, they are not flesh. Food for thought. Oh, shoot. Zandalari War Scout. I don't think I can do it, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try. Get some buffs rolling here.
Interrupt.
Yeah, all the Zandalari are mean. The pro tip. If you find these, and you're in a group, you're not in a group, excuse me, do not even try to fight them like I'm currently doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna run. Oh, dude. Nope, nope. Whoa, couldn't even get away. Yeah. It's okay, this is Pandaria. We have flying will death. You gonna despawn there for me? Yep, this is the first time the Zandalari were actually visually presented properly. We'll see that mostly up ahead, but it's a thing. The statue shatters with a blood-curdling wail as its spirit bursts free. Statues are not merely animate, they are possessed. Mogu conjurers call forth hapless spirits from beyond and force them into the statues. It seems that destroying the statues alone will not break the cycle. The shattered remains of an ancient Mogu statue. This one looks like it never animated before it was broken. Whatever dark magic the Mogu are employing, it seems better to make the brittle statues significantly tougher. Better to destroy them while they're still vacant. I can do that. The Mogu are also absent morality, is how I would describe that. I don't really mean that as an insult. In fact, it's arguably not even true to call them evil in the traditional sense of the word. They just do not understand the concept of morality at all. So, to them, enslaving spirits and using them to inhabit statues to then form into new Mogu seems completely normal to them. The Mogu are also incredibly supremacist. Mogu are above everything else, and then there's everything else. Yeah, they were made to carve rivers, but if you actually pay attention to the lore, and I mentioned this during the Warcraft series, there's an interesting trend. Most of the Titan Forged are very, very specific. Like, they do one task, and they can do one task very well. But the Mogu, even while they were still under the control of Ra, actually did a whole bunch of different tasks. In other words, they weren't really hyper-specialized like a lot of the others. They were homogenized. Or, if I could phrase that a little bit differently, they were good at everything. They were quite literally superior. So as you might imagine, they got a bit of a superiority complex. If this sounds familiar, we'll be seeing something like this again over on Draenor with the Ogre Empire. The statues topple and shatter with ease, a testament to the immense weight of the spirit. So you have a whole race of technically superior, like their species stats are superior. Like, I actually had an idea. So, some of you may know, I've actually built my own Warcraft TTRPG. And... excuse me, didn't mean to hit that button. Because balance can go directly out the window, I made each race to be rather different in stats. As in, like, some races are just fundamentally better in terms of stats than other races. The Mogu would be towards the top of that list. They are good at almost everything. Except wisdom. Their wisdom is absolutely in the gutter. Your mind is racked with a howl. Beneath it, a wispy voice is barely audible, as if from far away. Please help. The heart of the ruins, a ritual conjuring. Should not be here. My staff on the altar, please, hurry. Yeah, Draenei had pretty good stats. Tauren had very good stats. Tauren were top tiers. Gnomes had pretty low stats in most things, but had a huge boost to their initial int. Same thing with goblins. Stuff like that. I'll explain that concept a little bit in just a second. First, let's do this quest. What do you think you're doing? No matter. I no longer need the staff. Really? Well, okay. Oh, by the way, if you missed what he's doing, he's drawing forth the dead spirits into this area, sacrificing them, and using them to enslave the Pandaren. Here, we'll watch just once. See? And that then goes into the statue, and you get it. Really think about how horrific that is for a second. You know what abominations are, right? Chimeras. This is a soul chimera that he's building. Humans are interesting because they're better statted than several other things, like gnomes or dwarves, but that's mostly just because humans are kind of high tier in this setting in general, at least compared to most humans in most settings. I mean, they are descendants of literal giants. Yeah, orcs are humans, but better across the board. There's no bias there. That's biology. They really are just better. In terms of stats. Much lower on the tech tree, which makes sense. As I've pointed out a few times... Oh, hang on. I will have you, Spirit Sage. No. Your perversion of the dead ends here. Spirits of old, I release you from the staff. Seek your vengeance on the beast. Roar! That's too much. I cannot fail here, not with so much work left to be done. All these poor souls. Here, this portal will lead you home. Spirit binding. How can the Mogu have been allowed to resume such a disgusting practice? And here I am, product of a half-failed conjuring. He fumes for a moment, then turns to you. What century is this? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Peiji, Master Spirit Sage under the protection of the last Pandaren Emperor, Xiao Hao. So this guy's from a minute ago. At least I was. So many spirits held in captivity here. I feel them everywhere. Even the walls are a cage for the long dead. We cannot break the sorcery of this place. Doing so would release countless agonized souls to wander the earth. They need a beacon, something to guide them. With your help, I can create a Tan Chao, a bridge from this world to the heavens. For this ritual, I need a bowl, a candle, and a Kong. The Spirit Claws are a sect of Mogu assassin priests who, at the height of the Mogu Empire, were the most elite and feared of the Emperor's troops. All have mastered a death blow which ensnares the spirit of the enemy, trapping them in a jade bottle for delivery to a spirit binder. If you encounter any Spirit Claws further ahead, take note. Their belts hang with cursed weight. Relieve them of their burden and bring the bottles back to me. The process of mass conjuring, as the Mogu are doing here, is not without byproduct. Some spirits are too distraught or unruly to be harnessed, so they're confined and left to wander until their desperation leaves them more malleable. I suspect the Mogu have been holding some nearby. By the way, did you catch that? I'm going to say that again, in case you missed it. They're mass summoning the spirits of the dead. Some of them are too distraught or unruly to be harnessed, so they are confined and left to wander until desperation leaves them more malleable. And that is the Mogu in one sentence. Everything is a resource, even the dead. So stats, right? I wanted to talk about the stat thing. The problem with making certain races just being better stats in a game like an MMO is that, well, then players are going to play those races, right? I mean, look at the Night Elf PvP problem for an example of this. So, that sucks. But if you look at it from the perspective of a game where a bunch of people are there to have fun, like, say, a TTRPG, having different stats makes sense, because at that point it's all about what variety and what type of build you want to play. The argument between races should matter for stats and races should just be cosmetic for stats is one that's been going on for at least 40 years that I'm aware of. Probably longer than that. Like, people were arguing about this during Chainmail, for God's sakes. So, it does make a lot of sense that, you know, people are going to land one way or the other. I happen to like the idea that stats matter. You know, that race matters for stats. But at the end of the day, I do admit there's a lot of logic and reason to just make them purely cosmetic. For the record, in WoW, they are functionally cosmetic. There is no real difference between playing a gnome or a Tauren, even if you're playing a tank. There are very few exceptions to that. And yeah, like, a lot of games over a lot of years have kind of bounced around on this particular topic. Shrug. So, this is the first one we've seen right here. Oh, it was so small, Claude. But you're right, it was there. Kind of like how in FF5, all 4 of the starting characters have extremely minorly different stat starts that don't matter past like 3 levels. So these are nice, big, obvious things. They've got the blue glow, they've got the little swirling stuff around them. It's really easy to see these even at a distance. Like, that just kind of stands out over there, right? That's on purpose. These are lore. You pull these up, and these give you a little tidbit of the history and lore of the setting. And once you click it, the glow goes away. There's also achievements for getting all of them. I mean, in FF5, by the time you get 3 or 4 levels, those tiny, minuscule changes of like 1 or 2 stats have blurred out to the point where everyone is the same. Like, it doesn't matter if you have 250 strength or 251 strength. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, each of those you complete also gets you a story from Cho. I forgot to mention that. Utilitarianism. That's what it is. I was trying to think of the word. The Mogu practice utilitarianism to a T. Everything is a resource to be used. The end. There's no such thing as something that's valuable or sacred or should be preserved or something that exists for its own sake. The Mogu, ironically, are kind of like the, oh god, I can't think of their names all of a sudden. The bug people in Mass Effect 2. In other words, the Mogu arguably have no culture, or have... No, not the Rachni. The Collectors, thank you. What extremely few snippets of culture the Mogu have are so threadbare as to barely qualify. The most they have is a fascination with weapons and a racial superiority complex. Now, you're probably wondering how an entire race is like that. And the answer is, because they're an acceptable target. However, the slightly more complex and in-universe answer to that is because the deck was stacked against them from the very beginning. The Mogu are another Titan Forged, but every other Titan Forged has had groups and individuals who have helped guide them and keep them, essentially helped them to raise them as a species. And then they had to overcome their own trials and tribulations over the years. The Mogu had no one to raise them, and once they got into a position of power and prominence, all they did was go and fight each other for, like, 400 years or whatever it is, until finally Lei Shen took over. Lei Shen started actually crafting a true Mogu culture, and then he died. With the loss of Lei Shen, that was it for the Mogu. The Pandarans, Jinyu, Grummels, and Hosen all rose up against the Mogu, overthrew their asses, and they were never able to unify ever since. Which makes sense, because the Mogu Empire, if you could even call it that, was only lurching forward based on the precepts that were laid down by Lei Shen. He's the only real leader the Mogu have ever had. And even he cheated. Have you found the items we need? We cannot guide the spirits back without them. Good work. With these I can complete the ritual to send the spirits here, including myself, back where they belong. To think the Mogu have continued training the spirit claws for all these years. Did you get the bottles? Thank you. I can already sense the spirits within these bottles. They cry out with fear, confusion, rage. I am afraid I have another favor to ask. The bottles you recovered contain neither the spirits of Mogu ancestors, nor recently slain foes. They contain spirits of beasts. It seems the spirit claws have resorted to poaching in an effort to fuel their simulacra. This complicates our task, for I cannot take the beasts with me through the bridge. Take the bottles west and smash them to return the spirits to nature. Some may be blinded with rage. You'll need to subdue them. I'm almost ready for the ritual. There's just one more thing we need. An offering. Relax. I don't mean a sacrifice, just a bit of food. There are sure to be mushrooms growing in the Tideview thicket. Please bring me some. And yeah, I agree. I don't really care for the Mogu theme that much, but it does a good job of characterizing what the Mogu are. I should probably also mention that I rather like the Mogu. In a similar manner to how I like the Darkspawn over in something like Dragon Age, the Mogu serve as kind of a monoculture in a way that makes sense to me. From a species perspective, they have never been allowed to grow up. And honestly, at this point, they probably never will. And yes, I realize that's the second species on this planet, or excuse me, in this expansion, that is eternally stuck within effectively being teenager age. But the difference is, while the Hosen are literally biologically immature, the Mogu are kind of culturally programmed towards it. Yeah, exactly. Whatever Mogu are still present right now are functionally bandits. Huh. Be free, spirit. I release you from the agony that is life. I mean, see you around, Luke. Go forth and release yourself from the agony that is life. Honestly, the fact that they're literally poaching animals in order to use them for their spirit binding says all it needs to for about how far down the Mogu have fallen on the overall tech tree. They have tremendous ability and power to bind the very souls of their enemies, but they are so pathetic that they have to use it on literal animals, because that's all they can actually kill. Well, that's a good question, Mad Overlord. We do have one example of that, kind of. The Monkey King. He's still a little bit quirky, but you could tell he's no longer what you'd call a child. Similarly, Rico, who is one of the only other Hosen we see who kind of beats the odds, he grows up a little bit, but unfortunately we've only seen him once after he's grown up. I mean, given how horrible the Witcher setting is, Trihexia, do you blame her? Hey, this guy's about to try and kill another animal to steal its soul. Yep! Pathetic. But again, them being so pathetic is something I actually really enjoy. And I'm not joking. Not just because of the obvious parallel to Garrosh or the True Horde either. Although, there is definitely a parallel there. See, I started referencing this earlier, and I got interrupted. One of the, 5 major themes going through Pandaria is another theme that Warcraft itself has in spades. Oftentimes, most people in the setting tend to believe one of two concepts. Either that one individual person needs to be extremely powerful, or a whole bunch of people need to be powerful enough to unify together to make something stronger. The unification of the whole versus the singularity of the one. I refer to it several times in the Warcraft series, because it crops up several times. Khadgar, for example, is someone who legitimately believes in the unification of the whole. He does not want to be Guardian. He could. He could effortlessly claim that power for himself. He has the knowledge, the skill, the know-how, and more than enough political clout to swing it. But he doesn't do it, because he doesn't want it. That's just his mentality. That's his philosophy. Similarly, here in Pandaria, the Mogu, in particular, are very, very much fixated on the power of the One. One supreme Mogu reigning on high is exactly their ideal. Yeah, kidding, Blizzard, no. It's exactly why Lei Shen took power so thoroughly amongst the Mogus, because he was one incredibly powerful Mogu. But if you pay attention to what I just said earlier, the moment he was removed from the board, the entire Mogu culture collapsed in on itself. They had one pillar holding up their entire empire. And that was that. By contrast, the Pandaren, while they're not exactly perfect, tend to focus on having lots and lots and lots of pillars, along with reasonably friendly relations with basically all the other races on Pandaria, even the Mantid to some extent. So you can see the difference in philosophy there. Their bodies had long since returned to the land. Their spirits can now follow. Even the dead know hunger. Yeah, tell me about it. Thank you. These mushrooms may not seem like much, but the sentiment alone may be enough to draw the spirits. Also, they make a pretty good stir-fry. We are ready to open the Tan Chao and guide these spirits back to peace. If I may, I would have your assistance once more. The Mogu will surely sense the ritual taking place and will do everything in their power to halt it. I need only a few moments without interference, and once the path is open, it'll surge too greatly to be closed. If you're willing to help one more time, please accompany me to the site. Sure. Oh yeah, that's another little thing. The Mogu hoard knowledge a lot. So they don't really advance much as a species. I mentioned this earlier, that they're kind of, as a species, kept in adolescence. They don't share knowledge or information or resources or power, and as a result, if anyone who learns or understands or grows in something, they don't write it down, usually speaking. And because of that, whenever they die, that knowledge is then lost again. In the future, some other Mogu will rediscover it again, but that Mogu too will not write it down or share it, which leads to the same problem. You'll notice that that is once again that same philosophy. The idea of everything relying on one central pillar. As for the Pandaren having a political leader, they super don't. The Pandaren don't even have a polity. Any given village manages its own affairs. There is no... There's no polities. There's no countries. There's no nations. There's no city-states. There's no empire. There's no kingdom. Some towns are bigger than other towns. That's about it. The Shadowpawn are the closest that we have to some kind of organized Pandaria organization, and, I mean, they're guardians, you know? They're there to deal with problems. And to fight the Mantid once every century. Exactly, Lord Harrimont. The Tian Monastery offers free education. All you have to do is work for your place, and then you get a seat at the table. But that's the Tian Monastery. They don't respond to anybody. They don't answer to anybody. I'll follow them through, but first allow me to express my gratitude. Ah! I told you I'd have you, Peiji. You've set us back thousands of spirits today, but I'll gladly trade them all to see you bound. As for you, little rogue. Yes? Frickin' bring it, dude. It's no use sending more claws to die at your feet. Instead, I'll leave you this warning. Run away, and don't look back. Even you cannot hope to face the product of my next spirit binding. Well, that sucks. The ancestral spirit streams into the Tanchao, Peiqi's bridge to freedom. The final chamber lingers in the ruins just north of the Tanchao. The air above crackles with foul energy. Shan Jitong is already at work. Now let's go see what we can see here. And yeah, the Emperor of the Pandarans was an elected title. Something I always find wildly amusing. I guess I'll deal with this thing then. This used to be a fight. We'll see how this goes. No! My soul! My soul! Give me back my soul. No, this is the Mogo Abomination. This one's being powered by Page G right there. Do you see him? No, my soul! My body! Get back here! Get back here! Down you go. Time to fight your own battles, you monster. No more spirits to hide behind. And as you might imagine, a Mogu without any of his spirits defending him is brought low within seconds. And that's the Mogu in a nutshell, isn't it? Enslaved all kinds of things, but the moment we pierced everything, he fell over like a... well, you know. Yeah, the thunder... I don't know what he's talking about. I wouldn't worry about it. What he actually said in his final words is, "You will not defeat the thunder." And then he died. This age must be one of great strife to breed heroes such as you. I can only imagine what adventures must lie ahead. It has been my great honor to have you, Silverfair. I will remain here to usher out the last of the spirits before crossing the Tan Chao myself. Still, I am disturbed by the Spirit Waker's dying curse. It will not stop the thunder. What could that have meant? I wouldn't worry about it. So, Mad Overlord asked an interesting question. In the Warcraft rewrite, what am I going to do with the Shadowlands? Not the expansion, the concept, the afterlife. I have to admit, one of the easiest answers is to just go back to the fairly vague ideas they had all the way back in, well, everything before Shadowlands, frankly. There's a, you know, a heaven. They call it the light. There's a hell. They call it the dark. And you go there based on some kind of criteria. We never actually clarified the criteria, because that was all retconned before they ever actually had a chance to. Also, back in the day, the light wasn't really another place or dimension. It was basically just here. Remember, we've been to the Shadowlands several times already in this game. Hell, we did it during the Death Knight Starter Zone, if you remember. I will admit that I'm strange in the fact that I actually enjoy the concept of a very constructed, organized afterlife. It got me so interested I almost built one for my own setting based solely on the one in this one. However, if I might be so bold, I'm not sure such a thing really belongs in Warcraft, you know? Especially since so many of the dead are still roaming around. And I'm not even talking about the undead. Think about how many ancestor spirits are just roaming around in this setting. Or that people commune with on a regular basis. Like, what's their afterlife? Well, the answer is they don't have one. They're just over there, hanging out, chilling. Again, I point to the Tuskar, who literally entomb, willingly, their own ancestors inside of statues.
What is your hurry?
Man looks at you expectantly, eyes wide, nostrils flared.
Goodbye.
Catch? They were playing catch with my product? I hope you showed those walking toothpicks a thing or two. You know, maybe you ain't such a cub after all. I've been looking for some muscle to help out with my problem with the quarry. Judging by the size of the Lorewalker's restoration project there, I think you'll need more Jade.
Stay focused.
So, anyways. Sorry, I had an adorable niece come down. And since no one else is home right now, I was making sure she had some food and some entertainment.
Come, speak with me.
Normally, we'd be more than capable of fulfilling Cho's request. Jade veins run through this land like... She scratches her head for a moment. Well, like something that runs through something else's veins. Look, I ain't a poet, okay? Point is, we got problems.
Keep the peace.
You ever seen a jail spider rogue? Usually harmless. Just creeping around eating rocks. But they got a taste for Jade like cubs on candy. Boys call them nibblers. A few days back, we tunneled into a huge nest of the critters. They spilled out into the mines and went crazy. Chewed up damn near everything in sight, including some of the boys. You get in there and clear them out. We got plenty of Jade to spare.
May your deeds live on in story.
For once, she lowers her voice. Look. This ain't easy. I got another favor. My idiot husband is a shift lead down at the quarry. I told him not to go back. It was too dangerous. But he's as stubborn as a hosen and twice as stupid. Says the boys need him around for moral support. What about my moral support? What am I going to do if that idiot dies? Please keep an eye out for him. Tell him to come home.
Stay focused.
All right. Either way, that's probably what I'm going to go with, Matt Overlord. I think I will... Oh, hi. He looks up, he's struggling to pull himself out of the rubble. No, I got it. Okay, maybe I don't got it. Let me guess, my wife sent you. Imagine that, my delicate little snow lily, all worried. She's always fretting over me. Look, it'll take more than a little cave in to keep old Wow down. Some of the boys on the other hand are in trouble. Help them out, will you? I'll be fine. Really.
There we go. Told you I had it.
Got me shocked.
I'm sure you can handle things in here. I'll be outside settling things down.
Sure. Congrats, J. Palmer. You didn't lose literally everything. He had it. He had it. So what I'm thinking is there functionally is no real afterlife. You know, anybody who dies goes on pause, for lack of a better way to put it. They can hang around as ancestral spirits. They can be summoned forth, used as fuel, you know, or called forth to be part of a ritual, or all kinds of other fun stuff. But there's no, like, afterlife, right? I feel like I hear an adorable niece coming downstairs. Yes, J. Palmer, someone asked me what I would do, what I will do, in the Warcraft rewrite about the Shadowlands. Okay. No, they don't go to oblivion. They just die and they're paused, you know? They just stay paused for a minute. They go to sleep. They can be woken up. There's a whole lot of spirit craft in this setting. Where's my notes? There they are, there they are. Can they be reborn as a new person? Nope. Thank you for the sub, Mr. Floyd Pinkerton. Always appreciate. And we'll put that towards Dragon Age 4. Kingdom, up, Kingdom, Deliverance 2. And BG 3. So Creamy asks a valid question, which is both valid and true. Haven't we already covered Baldur's Gate 3? To which the answer is yes. It is also the specific reason we kind of refuse to cover games at launch anymore. Baldur's Gate 3 at launch, which we did cover, is a very different game than the Baldur's Gate 3 that exists now. And that's the problem, really. Now, as per the rules, I am charging double, because that is functionally an audit run. And audit runs cost double. So people have to fund an extremely long game twice for me to recover Baldur's Gate 3 again. And I told people very, very bluntly up front when they added Baldur's Gate 3 to the list, it's like, okay, look, this is a huge frickin' game, and I'm charging double for it. This may never happen. So you may be donating towards a run that never happens. Are you okay with this? Everyone said yes, so it's on the list. Will Bwansamdi be in the rewrite? Well, of course all the lower are going to be in the rewrite. Why wouldn't they be? Again, nothing I said has anything to do with, you know, changing how Bwansamdi operates. Not really. For example, Creamy, if you wanted me to recover Mega Man 5 right now, so that's a 2-hour game. So I would charge 4 hours for rerunning that game. By contrast, if you wanted me to rerun, I don't know, Cyberpunk, that's about a 90-hour game. So that's going to be a 180-hour stream. Or that is to say, I'm charging 180 hours. Make sense? I have heard enough conflicting information that I'm walking into Dragon Age 4 pretty much completely neutral at this point. I have no preconceptions and no expectations. Good, bad, or in between. Well, same general thing, Magister. They go to sleep. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with Arthas. Since obviously Shadowlands will effectively not be there, that is to say, the concept of the Shadowlands, we obviously can't have Arthas, you know, go be turned into fuel for making a frickin' forge or whatever. I mean, I guess we could do that. There's nothing preventing us from doing that, but since the jailer definitively does not exist in the rewrite, do I think it would break the game to have multiple Hearth locations saved? No. I just see like I have 15 horse stones for various events that are all different cosmetic changes. I wonder if it would be so bad to bind them different locations. No, it wouldn't change anything at all. Especially not at this point. I know, Jay Palmer, it's shocking! Now, if I wanted to do a true hard mode, which I haven't committed to, it's worth noting, I would have to keep the jailer in the game. I don't know how I'd do that, to be quite honest with you. Hey look, it's the good stuff. I seen him coming out running here like Kirshawn herself was giving chase. Alright, you need Jade, do you? I say we owe you at least that. We got plenty in the quarry, and thanks to your help, we should be back on schedule in no time. I should probably get back to the wife, so let's get you and this cart to the good stuff straight to her. Now, I ain't no worgen who are big enough to pull in a wagon, so you climb on the back. Let old How do the legwork. Okay.
Hold on tight.
That's a really weird question, Gum Gum. And that's my answer to you.
Nibblers, give them a whooping.
I like whooping nibblers. I mean, the problem is, if we're doing hard mode, we're not just keeping the jailer.
Daggone critters don't know when to give up, do they?
We're also keeping the Eternals. And honestly, as much as I rag on the jailer, everything about the Shadowlands spits on the setting.
Keep it up back there.
Keeping the Eternals breaks the setting in several key ways that I'm not a huge fan of.
Ha ha! What a rush! I like you. You keep things interesting.
Thanks.
No, Lily. We're back from the quarry. Got a special delivery just for you, my sweetness.
Honey bear! I mean, it is about time. Don't you snow lily me. We were worried sick about you. And the delivery is not for me, How. The Honorable Law Walker has been waiting. Oh.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Sugar Fur. I know how you worry. Truth is, this stranger here saved my old hide. Go figure.
Patience, patience.
I'll be. You actually did it. Looking for a more permanent job, buddy? I could use a bruiser like you full-time.
Keep the peace. Goodbye.
There's part 2 of the fresco. Huh. That's some fancy jade right there.
Hello.
You've done great here, kid. Thanks to you, I have quite a bit of extra jade. And I know just the someone who could use it. My friend, Foreman Reike, is running the Great Statue Project at the Serpent's Heart. Bring a shipment of jade to him. Tell him his old friend Man said hello. He'll be eagerly awaiting your arrival.
May your deeds live on in story.
Okay, I can work on that. So... Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's because Druid talents weren't designed in vanilla, J. Palmer. That's not me being disparaging, that is a statement of fact. They literally were not designed. Let me answer Venture's question first. I am familiar with the Isekai, or Isekai, or however you pronounce it. Which of my various characters in all the MMOs I play would I most want to jump into? Hey, no. Pillars of Snow. Isekai. Oh, okay, you got it, Triaxia. Thanks for the pronunciation guide. So I have to jump into one of my WoW characters. So the obvious answer is one of my Draenei females, because Draenei males are ugly, and Draenei's live eternally and have really high stats. So, duh, right? That's the easy answer. Least character I'd want to jump into, probably one of my Forsaken, for reasons I don't need to elaborate on. I would also not be super fond of being a goblin or a gnome, because both of them have relatively short lifespans, and, you know, are goblins and gnomes.
Welcome.
Am I seeing this right? A whole shipment of pure, high-quality, uncut jade? Oh, thank goodness. I knew Foreman Man would come through for us. Oh, and you too. Thanks for bringing it by.
There is no hurry.
Speaking of which, plus to story for the sequence we just ran through. Yeah, also probably not a Demon Hunter or a Death Knight, because obvious. Club Penguin. Can I trouble you for another favor? We're way behind schedule. This jade shipment is the last we need to finish the great statue. I've got my hands full, so could you run this ore to the other foreman? Sure.
Jade Serpent guide you.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, Zen. Hang on, let me become my Demon Hunter. It's okay, I also have a demon in my soul I have to wrestle with on a literal 24/7 basis. I forget where they mention it, but I think it might be in the book, but Demon Hunters have trouble sleeping properly because they're more vulnerable while they're asleep.
Greetings, Wanderer.
I like to think that a Demon Hunter has to quite literally drug themselves down so they're completely unconscious. So there's nothing for the demon to slip into.
What is your hurry? Keep the peace.
Ah, wonderful. Just look at it. 100 years to produce this incredible monument to the Jade Serpent. And now you too have contributed to its masterpiece. Just to show it off for a bit here, because we haven't really... Look at that thing. I know it's kind of hard to understand the scope and size of the damn thing, but that is a large statue. Look at that. Yeah, very pretty. I like it. And not quite finished either.
Hello. May the mists protect you.
Okay, we have delivered the jade.
Tell me of your travels.
I mean, Naga are an offshoot of Naga are elves the same way that elves are trolls, aka not at all. Done already? You're quite the runner. You ever thought about making a living out of this?
Next one is on me.
You've done us a huge favor here, traveler. Now that we have enough jade to complete the statue, you should send word to Yulon, the Jade Serpent. When you arrive, speak with Elder Sage Win Yi. Ah, sure.
Jade Serpent Guide.
I'm also going to offer you a flight path, because of course I am. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of the Jade Raccoon. I'm gonna keep you safe, Socks, don't you worry. So the problem is, if we have to keep the Eternals, we either have to keep the Afterlife, or we have to completely change who and what the Eternals are. So keeping the Eternals at all, which the Jailer is an Eternal, that's tricky. What was I going for? I think... Let's go and get the extra combo point for now. None that I'm aware of at all, Venters. They're probably a completely different species.
You are most welcome.
By the way, not too long from now, I would really like to do a dungeon, if anyone's available for it. So, kind of doing a bit of a roll call here.
The Serpent Rider's path is drenched in blood and tears. Your journey has just begun.
The requirements will never change, Papa Neeks. Not until Dragonflight.
You have the eyes of one who has traveled much.
You bring news from the Serpent's heart. He listens patiently to your tale of what occurred at the Jade Mines and the giant Jade statue. Thank you for coming all this way, stranger. However, I cannot allow you to speak with the Jade Serpent right now. The Ancient One's very busy. As you can see, he is not here at the moment.
May the red crane...
Since you were so helpful at the mines, would you be willing to help us with a small problem at the temple? Wise Mari has been complaining recently of a disturbance. The water elementals have gotten quite playful recently and made off with his ceremonial staff. If you could help him, I would be most grateful. I may even put a word with the Jade Serpent for you.
Slow down.
Lord Walker Stonestep is in charge of the entire temple library. Lately, something has been troubling him and his work. With thousands of ancient tomes to be transcribed, I can't afford to have him distracted. Would you follow the path south and see what ails him?
May you find mastery in your passions.
Hello? The girl squints at you. I overheard you talking to Elder Sage. He's pretty serious, isn't he? You're in luck, because I hear just about everything that happens around here.
Where are you going?
Have you seen the young serpents in the training yard? The little ones tend to be mischievous, and some of them run off to play before the training session. The mistress will get angry if she discovers they're missing. Would you go find them and bring them back to me? I don't want them to get in trouble. They like to play out in the open, so look for them in the courtyards.
Bye-bye. Go smash some bad guys.
Do you like fireworks, sir? I love them. In older times, we would set them off to frighten away demons, but I like them because they're pretty. I think there's still some old launchers lying around the temple. Would you go set off some fireworks for me? It would make me so happy.
Have fun.
Okay, I could do that. So I've got Bragwin, Pillars of Snow. I mean, in fairness, she probably doesn't literally mean scaring demons with fireworks. Because, being honest, most demons probably aren't going to be scared of fireworks on this setting. Would that work in any setting? That's a good question, actually.
Hello.
Elder Sage Renju sent you. Very well. You shall help me.
White Tiger guards
Moths
your
have infested the library. Moths! Any librarian worth his letters knows that moths are the most dangerous threat to paper, second only to bookworms. As it turns out, my assistants are a useless bunch of insect-fearing cowards. Please, you must help me get rid of the moths immediately. The works of 1,000 storytellers depend on you.
Be careful. Stay
The
safe.
worst possible thing has happened. We have bookworms! This is a critical situation. All bookworms in the library must be eradicated at once to prevent their spread. We must squash this problem, literally. Please examine the infested books and squash any bookworms you find.
Be careful.
Block guild invites. It's under social, right there. Lord Hermit. Oh, absolutely, Brigman. The closest they ever came to even acknowledging that demons exist is, oh crap, there's going to be demons in the future. What do we do? And then they pieced out of that fight so completely that it never reached their shores. I'm going to pause for a moment and give a plus to story. There's a lot of books here. No, I'm not reading them all out loud. They're good. They're interesting. Yes. They never actually say it outright, but it's confirmed elsewise and off camera that the Cataclysm is specifically what broke the mists. This lines up a bit. I've actually mentioned a few times that a Pandaren character actually ends up starting in Cataclysm. So, remember how we mentioned there's several start times for new PCs? Same thing here. A lot of new races across Cataclysm, as well as the Pandarans themselves, all start in Cata. Yeah, exactly, as Minister. In other words, most of the monk trainers we've been seeing in the starter zones literally showed up there after the events of the Wandering Isle. Yeah. Well, I was 20 years old as of last year.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes, thank you. You've thinned out their numbers wonderfully.
White Tiger.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so relieved we were managed to avert disaster. No, don't get too close, please. You still have some squashed bug bits on your shoes. Let me just get some new shoes here. There we go.
Stay safe.
You have helped us more than you could ever imagine. I do not know what I would do if our precious scrolls were to be lost. Please return. Tell him the library is in order.
Be careful.
Heh. That's stretching it a little bit as Mirstar, but it is feasible. Wandering Isle Pandarans do occasionally leave the Wandering Isle. I mean, Chen and Lili are a good example of that. Not the only example of that, but, you know. There's a reason why some people out on the mainland recognize us on sight, and some people are like, what the hell are those? Pandarans are just rare, that's all. Like humans in Primus. What are you? What the hell's wrong with your ears? I could see that as Miristar. But listen, whatever you do, you must brutally murder anyone from the other side the moment you see them. Because we are both warmongering jackasses. Dedicated to making the world as worse of a place to live in as possible. Equivalent to Carthage? I'm gonna go with no. But I have no idea. Maybe. Nice. Who does know? What do you think? You want to try 3-manning it? With no tank? Vanilla WoW is fascinating in its development cycle because it's so obvious they had absolutely no idea what they were doing. I don't mean that as an insult. Most people who jump into MMO development have no idea what they're doing. The pools are clouded. I would need my staff to calm the spirits and speak to the water. I am but an old Jinyu, and those pesky water spirits are impossible to catch. Thank you for returning my staff to me. Please tell the Elder Sage I will begin work at once. No, I actually agree, Lord Harrimont. So much so, I'm almost scared to even try. I know easy difficulty is easy difficulty, but man... One of my favorite examples of how inexperienced they were back when they started development of WoW is they used to ban players if they accidentally got in places they shouldn't be in. And I want to stress that word accidentally.
The Serpent Rider's path is drenched in blood and tears. Your journey has just begun.
Ironforge was a big example of that, but you've literally seen me get feared through the terrain in this playthrough. It was not that uncommon to happen. They got a lot better. Why did they ban them? Because they were inexperienced. No, I'm dead serious. See, most people, when suddenly thrust into a situation where they have to manage or administrate a large group of people, have no idea how to deal with that kind of responsibility. So they overreact and they tend to go one specific path, over authoritarianism. This is true if you're teaching a class for the first time, or if you're dealing with kids for the first time, or if you're suddenly in charge of like a bus or a project, or you've just been promoted to manager. This is a near universal human trait. So WoW's devs, just like every MMO devs ever, when they first start off, they get a little bit too ban happy for things they probably shouldn't be. And again, they did mellow out, actually hired some GMs and got some people involved in the process and started treating other people like players. But early on, they were just like, oh god, ban, ban, ban. I found it really funny when Tor came out and did the exact same thing.
Tell me a story. See you later.
You found them and brought them all back. They've really taken a liking to you. Thank you so much. I saw the fireworks all the way from here. Thank you.
Go smash some bad guys.
You're welcome.
You are most welcome. May the red...
Wonderful. Knowing the Squire has returned to his meditations has lifted a great burden from my shoulders.
family.
Rollwalker Stonestep is back to work.
These
Remarkable. You were able to do what the last 4 priests I sent could not. I think my headache is disappearing. Oh, yeah, what's up, kid? You came to deliver a message, right? She tilts her head up inquisitively. I guess it's time you meet her.
Where are you going?
I apologize for the deception, but it was necessary. In thousands of years, we have never seen one of your kind. It was imperative that I first measure the bearing of your heart. Come ride with me, little one. There is something I wish you to see. The temple priests are too frightened to face the truth. I grow old, little one. My time on this world is nearly done. Do you see the great statue in the distance? The builders have toiled for many years, and it is nearly complete. A little more jade, the jade you helped to acquire, and it will be finished. With my last breath, I will transfer my life essence into the statue, and a new guardian will be born. Do not be saddened. The cycle is clear. It neither begins nor ends with me. Someday, you may also be called upon to defend all that is dear to you. When that day comes, seek all the light and wonder of this world and fight. We live together or we die together. All of Pandaria is connected. I grow weary. I must rest now. Goodbye, little one. I will see you soon enough.
Interesting tidbit. Oh, the Celestials are 100% aware of the Shah. But interesting little tidbit. Her line there, we live together or we die together. This is just me, but based on inferences and information, I think that's a specific bit of foreshadowing for Legion. We know that the writers were planning for the third invasion of the Burning Legion when they were developing and writing Pandaria. And she was right. One of the single most common and successful techniques that the Legion have used consistently and persistently is by getting people to fight each other rather than fighting them. We have seen this over and over and over and over on Azeroth and on other worlds. Oh! And Gen Greymane is fighting Sylvanas in the frickin' the place I can... Stormheim. Huh.
What wisdom do you see?
There's a lot more examples of that in Legion, but, you know, she was right. We live together or we die together. Oh, 100%, J. Palmer. Especially if you think about the timing and Matthias Shaw. I will not spoil, but think about it. Did you deliver your message? Yes, actually. Thank you.
Live for your dreams.
A letter? For me? Whatever's you up to, make an end of it. The Horde and their savage monkeys are preparing to attack. They outnumber our forces considerably, and must not be allowed time to train. Put an end to whatever distractions you're engaged in. Return to Pearlfin Village at once. Distractions? Yeah, I agree. As we've talked about, like, several weeks ago, the only way a false flag operation works is if one or the other side is willing to fall for it. Sylvanas and Greymane were poised to kill each other. The fact that Legion agents probably pushed that into being doesn't change the fact that it was probably going to happen. Or at the very least that they wanted it to happen. Whoop, 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 whoop. One moment, please. Sorry. Oh, you're thinking of Ysera, Thar. Who, for the record, is not Yulan. Different species. Although both are... Well, I guess only one of them's a Loa. Oh well.
Adversity, our constant companion. The Alliance
Check it out.
must prevail.
Dorky hat. Welcome back, Silverfur. I trust your journey has been insightful. Particularly in regards to the layout of the land. There's much to do before we march into battle.
The soldier's duty is never done.
Welcome back. It seems the Jinyu have taken our training even better than I hoped. We're in the final stages of preparations now. I need somebody to go check in with Amber, Bold Karashi, and Mishka. See if they need any help.
We mustn't fail.
Yeah, I hesitated on that because it could be argued that the aspects are kind of artificial, Loa, but that's still not quite true. They don't have general spirit power imbued upon them. They have specific crafted titanic power imbued into them. And I know you could say an artificial Loa is the same as a natural Loa, and that's true, but again, Loa just have power. Alexstrasza has power over life and death, right? Nosdormu has power over time, etc. To my knowledge, they were just name-dropped, Mr. Floyd Pinkerton. Warcraft does that. Most franchises do that a lot, where they just name-drop something. It's called bricklaying. It's a deliberate form of writing, where you just mention something in natural conversation, and then that way, if you or another writer want to make something of that later, you can. Warcraft does that, Star Wars does that, Star Trek does that, Doctor Who did that. It's really common. As much as I hate to do this and essentially quit at the finale, I'd like to do the finale in one group, and I would like to do the dungeon immediately after it. So I'm going to go ahead and chop off here, especially since I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pulled in like 10 minutes here. Oh, now Kira Whitenose is available. God damn it. Yeah, the Clone Wars was actually mentioned as just a casual background element in A New Hope. But that's all it was you fought in the Clone Wars? Notice plural, by the way. Anyways, I think I am going to chop off because I'm going to interrupt it. Hopefully we'll have some people tomorrow morning for the Temple of the Jade Serpent. If not, it's not the end of the world. We can always delay it until we have a group. Either way, I will see you guys tomorrow.